Alright, so we're back for another episode of CDMP TV. I'm here this side of the camera, which is very weird, and now we've got the triumphant return of the Roadrunner catcher himself with his crutches.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I'm back.
We're back. So what are we talking about today?
Just everything Disney Plus, and
Disney
probably
Plus.
find a way to tie it into Marvel.
Disney Plus. Yeah. So what have you been watching on Disney Plus today?
I've been catching up on a lot of the Marvel stuff for Moon Knight coming out. Been watching some stuff on Star, which I don't know if you'd really call that Disney Plus.
No.
It's Hulu over on Disney Plus for
but in Britain,
everyone.
Yeah. I mean, isn't there recently something about Disney Plus using adverts on the service? What was that about?
Yeah. They're wanting to add adverts to the service for a cheaper option. So It's not. Don't worry. It's not like you've got Disney Plus. You've now got to watch adverts. It's a case of, if you want to pay less for Disney Plus, you can put up with adverts in between episodes or every once in a while in a film.
Right, and that's something Amazon Prime do already. Do you know that? So they have this thing in Amazon Prime called IMDb TV, where you're allowed to watch things that aren't on Amazon Prime, but you don't have to pay. You can just watch adverts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it works well. It's a good medium, I think.
Yeah. There's a weird side of copying from that though, because Disney tends to try and do their own thing. They don't try and copy everyone. They like to be.
Well, they like
to be in the lead.
I suppose so, yeah. I suppose
whether they have to buy the way there or not.
They just kind of assimilate things.
Yeah.
Which is a point that I've always said about Disney, or lately said about Disney, where they just seem like they're riding their own coattails and riding other people's coattails. Like, all the branding is stuff from the old movies we're seeing there behind us, where, well, we've got Phineas and Ferb and stuff right there, but they're not really bringing out that many new and groundbreaking
I mean,
films.
Even with Phineas and Ferb, they brought out a film not long ago for Disney Plus to try and drive sales when sales were starting to dip.
Yeah.
So even just franchises like that, they're tapping back into.
Well, I think it's totally unexpected for them to even push more sales when they had such a big kickoff anyway.
Yeah, they had a strong start, but then because they had that strong of a start, their growth wasn't like the competitors. So so they felt like they were doing worse than they were, I feel.
Well, it's because Disney Plus they didn't, when they started, they didn't really have a reason to get people to stick around. Yeah. I remember in the first few weeks, I'd already watched everything on Disney Plus. And because they didn't have a Netflix style thing to keep people hooked and keep people watching, they just kind of rid their coattails until the next Mandalorian came.
Yeah, I mean, the whole launch of Disney Plus was revolving around, look, all of Marvel's here, but there's nothing new. All of everything Disney's here.
But there's nothing new.
But not everything and nothing new, apart from The Mandalorian, which isn't the longest show in the world.
Which, not gonna lie, because of the wait between the US release of Disney Plus and the UK release of Disney Plus, people had found a way to see that already, and there was no way to keep that audience who were just there for Star Wars still around.
Until WandaVision came around.
Which was excellent. I loved WandaVision so
And then
much.
from, what was that, January until the end of May with the end of Loki, it was constant stream of new content, which is when they kind of hit the stride. Got going.
I loved that. Like last year we had a Marvel thing every month, I think. So between the films and the shows lasting over a month, it was certainly the age of content.
Yeah, it really was. It's kind of died down a bit this year. We've got Moon Knight coming out. Very soon. There's things like Ms. Marvel starting the campaigns. Thor's probably going to start advertising soon. There's Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange and Thor, but I'm not that much looking forward to the new stuff, I don't think. Moon Knight, I don't know.
I'm worried about Moon Knight, like very, very worried.
Really?
Because while the action, from what we've been shown in trailers, which is quite limited, does seem interesting, it seems brutal, it seems darker than the MCU's ever done. There's the mental health aspect that they're looking like they're going to dive into, but from every single thing we've seen, it doesn't look like they're going to get it very accurate. And that's going to be an issue when it's there to just constantly rewatch and analyse straight away.
And with conversation about that going around the internet, that's so powerful now. Disney are really it's a thin line to walk.
Yeah, it's good that they're trying to represent, and they're slowly working their way in it in a very old-fashioned Disney kind of style, like Rise of Skywalker. Yes, there's not the most representation, but look behind you, there's two women kissing to celebrate, but that's it. Like it's a step forward. It's just
the thing is with Rise of Skywalker. Yes, they had 2 women kissing at the end. I think they had but that was so short. It wasn't even impactful, so that they could cut it out for worldwide release.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's so dodgy. Why not just go for it? You know what I mean?
Whereas there's with the Don't Say Gay bill that's just being passed. Not to get too political, Pixar initially cut a same-sex kiss from Lightyear. But they've just recently added that back, and Disney's getting a lot of praise for that. Pixar's getting a lot of praise, but then they shouldn't have cut it in the first place.
They wouldn't be getting praise.
So it's unnecessary.
I feel like that's like the whole situation where we're going to do this thing just so people talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But whatever. So this leads into a whole other argument about Pixar and Disney Plus. I mean, Soul was one of the first things that kicked off Disney Plus because it wasn't in cinemas. And that was Turning Red and Luca. What do you feel about that? About them not going to cinemas?
There's an aspect of it. The pandemic happened. Onward, I think, got a very short release window in cinemas in the US.
Yes.
And then it came on Disney Plus worldwide, and it did well, but didn't do Pixar well. And that's because it was free on Disney Plus. That everything Pixar has been free on Disney Plus, whereas you have the likes of Black Widow and Mulan that were pay-per-view, which doesn't really make sense why Pixar, one of their most profitable franchises, are being treated like they're less.
I feel like it leads into the whole thing about Pixar don't really do franchises outside from Toy Story and Cars. Where they want to tell good stories and interesting stories, but they're one and done usually. Yeah. And I feel like Disney hasn't got much faith in things that aren't franchises, which saddens me a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. There's a side of it where Pixar's all about the message. So it's very hard to return to a franchise and deliver a new message because the characters are tailored to tell a specific story to teach your kids a specific lesson and then move on.
Yes.
So Onwards is about moving on, putting others before yourself, stuff like that. You couldn't do that story again, and there's nowhere else to really take it without it feeling forced.
Well, I'm saying that the new isn't there a TV show for Luca coming out?
Yes, I think it's going to be similar to that Olaf show that came out. I think it's going to be a series of shorts for what I'm saying, but that could be wrong. But that's similar to what Disney's done with a lot of stuff. You've got BMX, you've got the Zootropolis show.
Where they just spin off one of them.
Yeah, there's a Princess and the Frog show.
That's like H.P. Lovecraft.
It's weird. Like Princess and the Frog came out so long ago. I can't say the name of that movie, but it came out so long ago, and now they're revisiting it. It hadn't had a sequel because that's not how Disney does things until very recently.
Well, the thing with I'm pretty sure they didn't get a sequel because it underperformed. I think with it being the last 2D animated film and with it having a black lead, I think it didn't perform as well as Disney were hoping.
But that's why I'm really interested in it, because is it going to be 2D, or is it going to be 3D? Because it was advertised as the last 2D project Disney was going to do. So they're going to go back on that to keep the style of the original film, or they're going to try and bring it into modern day and make it CG animated. I
think they're going to do it CG animated. I mean, she was in Wreck-It Ralph too, and they made a new model for a character.
So the model exists. It's just, do they want to use it? Do they want to risk?
Yeah.
Because it is a risk. Because when you're tapping into an old franchise, if you change it too much, people aren't going to like it.
You'll end up using that franchise. Yeah. So while we're on the topic of franchises, then we touched on Marvel a little bit. Where do we see Marvel going soon?
Oh, how much time have we got? Wow. So Marvel's always moving forward. They're always setting up the next big thing.
Yeah.
Iron Man 1, post-credit scene, Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury goes into the Avengers. Ever since then, they've been setting stuff up. So now we kind of haven't got.
We're in a bit of a limbo where we've just had our new big bad, and we're all like, "What's this? What's the next new fact?" We've had Kang.
We've had the next big bad in Kang, but then the next time we're seeing them is in Ant-Man 3, which, while it is being advertised as a darker film, it's Ant-Man.
Would you feel like they're rushing into the next big bad? Do we need to spend a little bit of time in limbo a little bit? Recover from Endgame. Just have fun with Ant-Man for a little bit, or hang around with the X-Men, see what they're up to, and then after that maybe go into the new big bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like they're going to set up a Young Avengers for those smaller storylines, but it does look like they're going to try and get to Kang as quick as possible. We're setting up multiverse in No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, which is tying into Disney Plus, which is good to see. They're trying to bring it in as fluidly and as quickly as possible so that people understand. Disney Plus is a part of everything. Pay attention to it, watch it, give us all your money. Right. It's clear what they're trying to do, and they're doing an okay job of it. Just they really need to drive it home, because I personally right now can't see how, like, where we're going to see Falcon's Captain America, apart from Captain America 4, where we're going to see Shang-Chi. What the hell's going to happen with Loki Season 2? We don't know. Everything's being set up for the future, but the future isn't clear, and while I don't mind that, because it will become clear the further we get to it. I feel like we've delved into the multiverse really quickly, which kind of suggests that we're going to get to the multiverse crossover Avengers level threat very quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, Toby and Andrew are in negotiations now for more Spider-Man projects, but then Sony said that Tom Holland's their Spider-Man. He's the one getting the franchises. And Morbius has got every Spider-Man reference, every Venom reference, so that's on its own. So it's not there, I think. We'll see. So the only place I can say that I'm coming back is Secret Wars, which is the multiversal crossover. We could get a Miles from Into the Spider-Verse, we can get the X-Men, we can get everyone. It feels like they're getting there quite quickly.
It does. I feel like they're not taking the time. They want Endgame money every single month, and it's like you can't achieve that. You got to build that up.
But that's the thing. They can get close. Black Widow performed very well with the simultaneous release.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi did well. Eternals did less well, but still
No Way Home.
No Way Home is the third highest grossing movie of all time now.
I think so.
I don't think it managed to get to Titanic or Endgame.
No.
Sorry, not Titanic. Avatar or Endgame.
Avatar, yeah.
But it's close.
And Endgame and Avatar had more releases as well. I think it was in the box office for longer.
Yeah.
So anything can happen really with it. And I think they're trying to really push Multiverse of Madness as this next thing. And I'm pretty sure that Thor: Love and Thunder are gonna tie into it pretty closely, which I'm very, very excited for.
It's the thing. I saw a YouTube video. I think it was by the Closer Look, who's a guy that does a lot of video essays. He's very good. But the title sums it up perfectly. It's Marvel, stop trying to end the world, because every single film since Endgame, since Far From Home finished, so end of Infinity Saga, moving on, the world's going to end every single time. Maybe not as much WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but everything after that, very much so. Black Widow, there's Black Widows everywhere. No one will survive. Shang-Chi, the Dweller in Darkness, is going to eat everyone. No one's going to survive. Eternals, the world's an egg. Not everyone's going to, no one's going to survive. No Way Home, the multiverse is collapsing. No one's going to survive. No one's going to survive.
So if we're going to take anything from this, Marvel, don't end the world. And I think that's pretty much the crux of our argument.
Yeah.
Stop ending the world, Disney.
Yeah, you're allowed smaller stories. It doesn't have to be a big franchise. It doesn't have to be end of the world. People will give you their money.
Yeah, people will
Don't worry, you are Disney, you are Marvel, you are Star Wars.
Yeah.
And you are Pixar. Stop putting Pixar on Disney Plus. They deserve the cinema. They make very good films all the time. Have faith.
Have faith. Don't end the world. Thank you very much. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. See you later.
That's everything.
Bye.